Now then, the famous 90s lads mag, it was the most famous, wasn't it, Loaded, is apparently going to make a comeback with the female editor saying that there's no shame in letting men, and these are her words, ogle beautiful women.
But is it a step forward, or should lads mags be left in the past? Former glamour model Danielle Mason says they are harmless, but podcaster Marvin Harrison says they objectify women and create a problematic culture. Good morning to both of you.
Morning.
So, Marvin, let's start off with you then. You are not in favour of this.
Yeah, not at all. And it's weird because I work with so many men on a day-to-day basis, and it's so clear that a lot of this sort of historic behaviour and these ideas and the ideas of women being projected at them from a young age has impacted their ability to connect with women correctly and in a healthy way. And actually, when you think about it, it's not necessarily just the lad element of it. It's the actual objectification of women that is not right for women and for men. And you start thinking about what type of young men and young women do we want to raise. And I think showing them easily accessible visions of women in their underwear and then contextualise also. There's not just the underwear, it's contextualised and editorialised of how do you get a girl like this. Is completely sending the wrong message, and it makes normalising sort of objectifying women just the natural way that young men are raised. It absolutely needs to be stopped.
Even if people agree with what you just said, is it that big a threat in a world of easily accessible hard porn?
No, absolutely, because it's a culture of abuse, it's a culture, it's like part of rape culture when you start looking at, when you turn women into objects and you actually feel like I can just ogle at them or I can wolf whistle at them, it makes it so much easier to dehumanise them further. So the culture of it starts with little gestures like that, and it becomes bigger and bigger. And porn is a massive one that also needs to be addressed as well.
You were telling me in the break, you haven't modelled for quite a while now, but if you were still modelling, would you accept a Loaded assignment?
Yeah, funnily enough, the editors just messaged me, would you like to do Loaded? But yes, I would. I mean, for me, back in the day, Loaded was a classy men's magazine. It's a great community for men. They can look at fitness, they can look at health, they can look at puzzles, things like that, that we get in women's magazines.
Really, primarily, I don't think why they'd be looking at it, though.
Yes,
what about this issue of how women are presented, though, and the objectification?
I understand what you're saying,
and Marvin's point there about the effects of that objectification.
Right, so this magazine, it's going to be a secure community. So if you was to read it, it's going to be on a top shelf in a post office or whatever. You're going to be ID'd for it. Kids can't get their hands on this. You've got to subscribe to it. It's classy. It's not seedy in my eyes. I mean, you've got Liz Hurley taking centre stage for the first cover. She, in my eyes, is a classy woman, sophisticated and not trashy at all. You've got a woman editor now, Danny Levy. I've looked into her. She looks like a great businesswoman, and she's going to look after these women. As for the oogling aspect of it, the women that are doing this magazine, you've had great women come out of it. You've had Pamela Anderson, you've got Liz Hurley, Melinda Messenger. All these women have moved on with their career. They're now presenting, they're doing big things. For me, it's not a cheap, tacky, anything like that. And kids can't get hold of it. There's a lot darker things on the internet that children can get hold of. But with this magazine, it's you've got to subscribe, and it's hard to get hold of.
I mean, she's an independent, feisty woman. She posed for it with no issues at all.
I'm really happy that she's been able to post for it, and that's her right. I'm saying what I'm concerned about is young people. What I'm more concerned about is a generation of men who were raised on it and what they have become. And much of what we're doing at the moment is trying to undo years and years of really bad ideas of what types of things men can do and can't do to women. And now we're getting a bit of progress, and actually the conversation's starting to get broadened, and actually men are actually saying to themselves, you know what, some of it was really, really bad and I could do better. We're going to reintroduce one of the main components of the problematic era. I just think it's time to move on.
I have to say, you both make very good arguments. I'm not sure where I stand on this. I think on the whole it's retrograde to bring it back.
Well, we will have to draw it to a close there, but thank you both very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Loaded's editor Danny Levy said it is not a lads mag, rather a men's lifestyle brand, by the way, with photos of women not shot in sexually explicit or offensive fashion, just to end on.
But I did like the way you posted it as the old health and efficiency magazine.
Yeah.
That's very funny.